let's go ahead and talk about this Valkyrie thing. We've talked about basically investing in whatever, mining or cryptocurrency in general through another company, right? And where you have essentially limited exposure to cryptocurrency. But what we've found is that limited exposure to cryptocurrency is a lot less true than the companies that are getting you to invest in them want you to believe. So I think you should be very careful when basically purchasing stocks in relation to cryptocurrency, because then, in my opinion, you aren't getting limited exposure. I think that you're ending up exposing yourself to two different markets. Just from my perspective, I would want less exposure to less markets, but as far as for a single individual investment. But that's my opinion. Valkyrie here, Cointelegraph aims for ETF linked to Bitcoin mining firms on the NASDAQ. The proposed ETF would invest at least 80% of its net assets in securities of companies that derive at least 50% of their revenue or profits from Bitcoin mining in particular. Crypto asset manager Valkyrie has filed an application with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission to trade an exchange-traded fund, ETF, with exposure to Bitcoin mining firms on the NASDAQ stock market. In a Wednesday SEC filing, Valkyrie said its Bitcoin Miners ETF will not invest directly in Bitcoin, but at least 80% of its net assets would offer exposure to the crypto asset through the securities of a company that derive at least 50% of their revenue or profits from Bitcoin mining, or providing hardware or software related to mining. Now, here's one thing that would be interesting is the hardware portion of it, right? So I think being invested in, off the top of my head, I think Hut 8, but that's not a Bitcoin mining farm. But being invested in something like Hut 8, where they're actually mining their cryptocurrency, has more exposure than, and is different than, investing in Bitmain, or maybe like obviously Intel would be a better example of somewhere where they're just providing the software and the hardware. And I think there could be something said for that. So, and so maybe this is a little bit better than just purely investing in like a Bitcoin mining farm, if that makes sense. The filing added Valkyrie would invest up to 20% of the ETF's net assets in companies holding a significant portion of their net assets in Bitcoin. So they are still obviously here taking 20% of those funds and putting it into Bitcoin directly or into cryptocurrency directly. And that's going to offer, that's going to put more exposure to the market trends of Bitcoin. Valkyrie launched a Bitcoin strategy ETF in October 2021, which offered an indirect exposure to Bitcoin with cash-settled futures contracts following SEC approval for a similar ETF from ProShares. At the time of publication, and this is actually last week, shares of the fund traded on the NASDAQ for $14.93, having fallen more than 40% since the opening on October 22nd. That is eerily similar, and that's kind of my point. That is like so close to the reduction of the value of cryptocurrency at the time of this article being written, which was January 26th. So you're not getting limited exposure. You're still getting that full exposure to the crypto market. That's what it looks like to me, at least. In 2021, the SEC approved investment vehicles linked to Bitcoin derivatives for the first time, but hasn't given the green light to any Bitcoin spot exchange traded fund in the United States. The Valkyrie Bitcoin Miners ETF resembles the digital asset mining ETF proposed by asset manager Van Eck in December of 2021, which plans to invest 80% of its total assets in securities from crypto mining firms. The regulatory body has until February 14th to reach a decision on the fund for extended deadline. And that actually just went through today on February 7th, 2022. This is to certify that on the 2nd of February, the NASDAQ Stock Market, LLC, the exchange, received from Valkyrie ETF Trust 2 a copy of the registrant's application for the registration of the following security. We further certify that security described above has been approved by the exchange for the listing and registration upon official notice of issuance. So this has taken place now at this point. So as far as overall, what this does mean is that there will be obviously greater institutional investment. And I think that this is a good thing for cryptocurrency overall. However, like I said, personally, as far as investing in something like that, I don't think I would. But it's still a good thing. I hope you enjoyed this clip from the Crypto Mining Morning Show every Monday through Friday, 7:45 a.m. Pacific and 10:45 a.m. Eastern Time. You can check out more clips here, or if you're interested in checking out the entire live show, you can check that out down here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next Tuesday.